Over the last 8 years, I've been pretty fortunate to build a network of some pretty incredible human beings doing unbelievable things, achieving unbelievable milestones in terms of revenue, in terms of audience, in terms of just general accomplishments. And as a result, I've learnt an enormous amount about what it takes to build a successful online business, a massive online audience, and just a general incredible life. So in today's video, I want to share with you the 5 things that I've noticed these high-level content creators doing that most people either fail to do or just don't do entirely. But before I get into that, if you're sitting there wondering, who the fuck is this dude and why should I listen to him? My name's Tom Noske. I've been a content creator for the last 8 years. And over the last 2 years, I've taken my online business from struggling to get by and honestly making most of my money from freelance work completely separate from my online audience to 7 figures per year. And now through this YouTube channel, I want to share videos that help you, or hopefully a lot of you, to do the same. So the first thing that I've noticed that these people do exceptionally well is that they're focused. Most creators struggle because they're managing far too many things at the same time. These content creators that I know, my close personal friends that I know doing this really well, all have one singular thing that is leading to the majority of their financial success. There's this bullshit idea that's kind of become synonymous with building an online business, and that's that the average millionaire has 7 income streams. The issue with this idea, 1, that it's a complete crock of shit, but 2, that millionaire didn't build their millions by having 7 income streams. They built their millions with 1 single income stream, and now they have added 6 income streams to maintain their wealth. I think this idea has led content creators to believe that they need to be spinning an enormous amount of plates all at the same time in order to build the business that they want. They think they need sponsors, ad revenue, merchandise, their own online course, digital products, a whole bunch of other work, some freelance work on the side, because why the fuck not? They need to be on every single platform, everywhere, all at once. And all this is leading to is everything being subpar. You're not actually accomplishing anything anywhere. All you're doing is spinning your wheels. One of the best things that I've done, and something that I live my life by and my business by, is my 1+1 principle. It basically means that I am only ever allowed at any one time 1 primary focus and 1 secondary focus. I can't be focused or equally focused on 2 things at the same time. I need to pick a primary focus that is dominating the majority of my attention, and then I can have a secondary focus that is supplementary to that primary focus. What this has allowed me to do is kind of put my blinders on to all the distractions that inevitably come our way as a content creator. Even though my business is doing well, the craziest thing that tends to happen is I see other people doing things that may be subpar to what I'm doing myself, but for some reason, my brain sees what they're doing and decides that I want to do that too. And having this thought in the back of my mind of less is more constantly, and that focus is about doing less, not more, has allowed me to say no to an enormous amount of things that I really don't need to be doing. So if you are someone who's struggling to make progress, or you've been doing this a long time and you feel like you're not making the progress you want, it might be because you're doing too much. So if you're doing 7 different platforms at the same time, maybe pick 2. If you're running 11 different businesses all at the same time, you're trying to do your freelance work, your digital products, your online course, your online cohort, your one-on-one coaching all at the same time, your issue might not be that you're failing to make it work. It might be that you're just doing way too much. Focus on the absolute essential few things that you need to do to move the needle, and you'll make way more progress than everyone else. The second attribute I've noticed is that they're iterators. Most content creators fail because they treat their monetization strategy, or the way that they're going to make income, as a one and done strategy. They've been sold this bullshit lie that passive income is on the other side of digital products, or passive income is on the other side of making an online course, when in reality, there is nothing passive about building an online business, and there is nothing passive about building an online course. The reality that these people don't tell you is that everything needs to be constantly updated in order to continue to grow. And so by adopting the mindset of an iterator, you're actually able to make progress consistently over an enormous period of time, because everything is always improving. The best products, the best offers, the best courses, the best coaches, the best everything is built over time. I've seen this far too many times, and it's unfortunately a reality that plagues an enormous amount of creators that I know personally, but just creators that I've seen in general, is the idea that you need to disappear, build something incredible in terms of a course, in terms of an education program, in terms of a product, and then when you come back, you'll be able to restart, except now you'll have an incredible product that'll just make you passive income forever. This is bullshit and will never be true for as long as you live. The reality is that you need to make something today that you can improve tomorrow, and then again next week, and then again next month, and over the next 12, 24, and 36 months, that product will become incredible. You can't build something incredible and then expect to sail off into the sunset living on your passive income forever. It just doesn't work like that. The best creators that I know, the most successful creators I know, are all iterators. They're constantly improving their products, constantly improving their content, and constantly trying to iterate on the things that they're doing. The third attribute is that they understand that building an online audience and building a business are not the same thing. I used to believe this shit. I remember back in the day, I would focus entirely on building my audience and then subconsciously believe that if I just gained enough followers, the money would start taking care of itself. And it wasn't until I fully acknowledged that I didn't know how to run a business and invested in learning how to do that, that my income actually started to grow. There is an uncomfortable truth that a lot of you are not gonna wanna hear, but there are people who have an audience half the size of yours making 10 times as much as you do. And that's because they know how to run a business. So one of the most important things you can do if you do want to build a successful business as a content creator is be willing to learn how to run a business in the first place. And part of learning how to do that means you have to be willing to be a beginner. Just like it was difficult for you to learn how to make videos in the beginning and you had to learn how to make content and that was hard to do, it's going to be just as difficult to learn how to run your business. And that's really uncomfortable and that sucks, I know. And all the skills that you've learned to build an audience and create content are fucking useless when it comes to building a business. But that's reality. And if you want to build the business that makes you the money you want, you are going to have to, at some point, embrace being a beginner and learn how to do it. Number 4 is that they always keep content as their number one priority. I think one of the traps that a lot of content creators fall into, and I've fallen into this myself multiple times, is that in the beginning, we loved this shit. We got into this because we either had a hobby that we desperately wanted to share with the world via content, or we just loved making content in general. I loved content in the beginning. I still do, but I absolutely loved it. I was obsessed. And so my focus was 100% on how I could improve my content, how I could grow my audience, how I could continue to get better at the thing that I love doing. But then inevitably over time, as our audience grows, as my audience grew, the attractiveness of the opportunities coming my way become more and more compelling, and it's easier and easier to let content slip from your number one priority. I've seen this happen so many times where a content creator is incredible at what they do. They're incredibly focused in the content they're making, and that creates success. And then that success brings on opportunities, and then they choose those opportunities over their content, and then slowly over time, the content fades, their ability to garner an audience also fades, and their business begins to trickle down. So the number one thing you need to maintain, or probably the most important on this list, is you need to keep content as your number one priority. Full stop, end of story, forever. Because that is your biggest unfair advantage. One of the craziest things that you have as a content creator is that you get to do for free what most businesses have to pay hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars for. You have a unique ability to garner an audience and create content that is compelling and interesting and valuable and entertaining for an audience of human beings. Businesses would literally kill for that skill. To be able to have it for free, no less, is insane. So you need to maintain that as your number one priority forever. Even as the opportunities get bigger, even as your business gets busier, as your life gets busier, you need to maintain content as your number one priority. And number 5 is that they understand the value of endurance. The number one indicator of success from every single person I've met over the last 8 years of doing this is endurance. There is no other indicator that is anywhere near as predictable as endurance. Most of the content creators that I know personally that are successful weren't any more talented, they didn't work any harder, they didn't do anything extraordinary or above any of the people that didn't succeed. It's that the people who didn't succeed don't do this anymore, and the people who did still do. And that's it. It's insane to me. And I know this sounds hyperbolic. I know it sounds insane. I know there's probably people in this audience right now going, no way, there has to be a skill difference or a talent difference or a work ethic difference. There must be something. There needs to be an X factor. And I promise you that X factor is endurance. You're either still here making content in a decade or you're not. The catch is that most of you are not. Most of you watching this video right now will not still be making content 10 years from now. And that is the reason that you won't be successful. It's not that you're not talented enough. It's not that you don't have the skills or equipment or the expertise. You can build all that. It's that some of you, plain and simply, will stop and then you'll never do it again and you'll quit. And that's why. You need to know that even if you don't reach your goals this year or next year or the year after that, if you just continue, you will. You either quit or you win. And that's it. So whilst everyone else around you is sprinting towards their goals, they're on these 75 hard and just lock in, bro, and monk mode and all these bullshit things that are inevitably going to lead to burnout. If you can just be that person that does not fuck off for an extraordinary amount of time, you will win. I promise you. More than anything else on this list, if you just don't stop for an extraordinary amount of time, you will win. And if you don't, you won't. And that's it. I hope this video helps. I'll see you in the next one.